Before you sell your cards on eBay with PSA through the PSA vault, I highly suggest you watch this video. Okay, so I am a buyer, a very high volume buyer. I'm buying over $950,000 worth of cards every month at the current moment. I bid on a ton of PSA stuff. I've been on a ton of DC Sports stuff. I've been on a ton of Pro Team stuff. All the big buyers, I would say about 75% of my product comes from. Okay, so I'm a very high volume buyer. And what happens invariably to me, and I'm sure it happens to all other big buyers, is they get unpaid strikes on their account due to a technical glitch from the eBay cart. And what happens is the eBay cart does not populate all of your orders at times, so you do not even have the option of paying for something, and then you get an unpaid strike. I'm actually working with eBay to fix this issue on the technical side. But before then, they give you an unpaid strike, and it doesn't allow you to bid. So whenever that happens, eBay instantly removes it from my account because they know I'm a huge buyer and they know that I intend on buying everything that I win in an auction. And then what happens to other sellers is it will trigger their settings, and it will trigger their settings not to allow a person with strikes on their account to bid on their auctions. All of this is very reasonable, and I agree with it. So it does happen. However, in situations like this, I reach out to the big sellers. I reach out to DC, I reach out to Probstein, I reach out to CMC. And I say, hey, I explain the situation basically. I'm going to show you the messages. I explain the situation exactly, that it's a glitch. I explain it all to them. And all of the big guys, DC, Probstein, CMC, there's a bunch of others. They say, okay, cool, no problem. We understand. We are aware of this glitch. We are going to put you on our exempt list, which just means they allow me to bid on their auctions always, okay? And I'm one person, and I am buying a ton from these big sellers. So I am definitely moving the needle a little bit. However, more importantly than me, a ton of other big buyers are getting these strikes on their account, and the same exact thing is going to happen to them. So let me get back to PSA. I explained the situation at length to PSA. All they give me is this, and I've tried like 10 times. Thanks for reaching out. At this moment, we are not adding any users to our exclusion list, aka they're not allowing me to bid ever again, in order to keep our auctions as fair as possible while aligning with eBay's strike policy. So this is some copy and paste bullshit that they're sending out to people without ever even reading my messages. I then follow up and I explain exactly what happens. They don't read it. Nothing else happens. So if I'm excluded from bidding from them and a bunch of other big buyers are excluded from buying from them, it cannot be good for the price action of those selling with PSA on eBay. So I did a little research on average just this month, and I predict this to get higher and higher and higher. Just this past month, all PSA auctions went on average 7.5% under comps. And that might not seem like a huge number right now, but based on my knowledge of the system and how all of this works, I just believe as time goes on, that number will get bigger and bigger and bigger. So just a word of caution. When you're selling your items with PSA, they might go for under comps. Now, I am pretty sure, I am hopeful that PSA will eventually understand what's going on here and allow all these guys that had one strike on their account to bid on their auction. That's what we can hope, because I love their auctions, and on a positive note, they have a ton of good stuff. And I always used to look for their auctions to bid on because they were all very good, and sometimes you get them for cheap. The hobby.